Good morning, everybody. I'm not going to play a chess game today. I have played 3 games and I was utter doggy-doo in all 3 of them. I forgot to turn on my brain this morning. So I'm not going to play chess because that's one of the important disciplines. You know that when you're playing badly, stop playing. Stop playing, do something else like train. So that's what I'm going to do today. And what I thought we could do is look at some of the basics and start to put together some theory for the London system. A lot of the students that I train, around 1,000, play the London. I very much approve of it. It's a very, very solid and perfectly good way to start playing chess. It got me from 1,000 to 1,200 pretty well, and it's kind of hard to go wrong really with the London. Your first few 7 or 8 moves can very often be played the same, but it's also a good way to learn how an opening system also needs to be flexible. So what I thought we'd do is just spend like 20 minutes going over some of the basic principles and the first few moves of the London. And the way that I want to do that is by using my opening training method, using the chess.com bots. So here you'll see on the screen that I've got some notes that I actually had previously from the London. I guess I probably worked through a course or a YouTube video. And then we're going to add our theory notes to here. And I'm also going to paste all of this into the description of the YouTube video. Okay, so let's just go through these notes quickly. So it says E3 before C3. Okay. Ideally aim for knight to F3, knight to E5. Yeah, knight to E5 is a really, really good square and generally a target for you in the London. If your opponent plays G6, then they're probably going to fianchetto to this bishop. Abandon C3 and knight C3. Maybe it means play knight C3. Okay. If black's getting ready to play queen B6, which is commonly done, move knight B to D2 first. Okay, that's here. And prepare queen B3. Okay, so that if queen takes queen, you can recapture with the knight from D2. And freeing the rook in case of bishop F5 attack on the queen on C2. Okay. If black pushes C5 to C4, which they probably shouldn't do, attack with B3. So C5 is very often a kind of counter pawn break from black in the London. If bishop to E7, then play knight to E5. Okay, so I don't know the logic behind all of this. It's a long time since I wrote these notes. I didn't even know I had them. If black castles kingside, push H4 and ready for G4 and G5. Okay, so castles kingside, try and do a pawn storm on the kingside. If knight takes knight on E5, so you've got your knight here. If that knight takes that, I guess, is what we're talking about. Take with the D pawn. If the knight retreats, go for Greek gift. Okay, so we'll go in for that. So Greek gift would be bishop takes down this side, with the idea of the queen and the knight then coming in for a checkmate threat. After king takes H7, queen H5 check, whatever that means. And after king G8, knight to F3, blah blah blah. All right, so we might refer to some of these as we go along, but the basic principle is that we're going to use the computer to help us to train our first few responses to the London, and particularly when things don't go exactly how we want. So what's interesting about the London is that we're going to start with D4 on the first move as white. So the way to do this, you just load up the analysis board, chess.com/analysis, or learn analysis here. Okay, and then simply you click straight away on finish versus computer. So that then brings up this in another tab. I've just made the board a bit smaller so that we can see all of this on the right hand side. And we are going to, let's just start with the intermediate bots. Okay. Now, in my notes on the left hand side of the screen here, I've put the first move, which is going to be 1d4. Okay, so we can play that. And what I'll generally do is I'll put the like the mainline moves I will color code in magenta, and then we've got a variety of responses. So we've got one ... Okay, knight f6. Okay, and then I might put the opponent's responses quite often in orange. So this is like a main response. So what should we do against this? I think we're going to play bishop f4, and it's probably a book move. Oh, it says it's excellent. Okay. Right, now. So bishop f4 on move 2. So I'm writing this in similar to PGN notation, but it's just my own kind of way that works for me. You may want to do something different. Now, we've got then g6, okay. So bishop f4 is actually mainline. So we might go to g6. Now, I know from our notes that if g6, abandon c3 and play knight c3. Okay, so that's interesting. So basically what's likely to happen is we've got this kind of King's Indian defense is going to happen on the king's side from black, and it's saying don't play c3. Whereas for me, you see, if the bishop's here, I would kind of quite fancy the idea of a dark squared pawn chain, but we can play knight c3 anyway, so I'll play knight c3 now, and it says it's best. Okay, so we'll go 3 knight c3. I'll just put that in white as normal. Okay, and then we've got d5. Okay, knight c3 and d5, then 4. And I'll probably go ahead and now play e3. e3 is best, okay, that's fine. And then we've got bishop g7. Okay, and it's saying that we are ever so slightly better in this position. So I don't want to stop now. I want to get to a point where white has a significant advantage. So bishop d3 is good, but h3 is best. Interesting, okay? So we'll do comma h3. Now, why is h3 best? So h3 is best because it's, I guess, preventing the knight coming to g4, and it's preventing this bishop from coming to g4. Okay, so bishop e2 was an alternative. So it preferred bishop e2 to bishop d3, okay? So you can see already how if you stick rigidly to the moves that you always play in the London, which is very easy to do because they are kind of predictable, you could actually find yourself behind by this point. And this is against the 1000 bot. Okay, so let's keep going a little bit. So now it's suggested bishop e2 is a good move, so I might try that. Okay, no, knight to f3 is best. Okay, so castles, 6, knight f3. Let's try that. Okay. And this is just training, you know, you're not even playing against the computer, this doesn't count. Okay, knight to f3 is best, and we're kind of in an equal situation right now, so I might put a couple of equal signs, and then we can go all the way back to the start of the game, if you wish, and then see, and then do it again, against the same bots, and now we've got d5, okay? So here we go. Okay, how about 1 d5, which is what you would normally expect at this level. Okay, so after 1 d5, we're going to play bishop f4. Bishop f4 is a book move. Okay, that's fine. 2 bishop f4. In fact, we'll copy this one in pink. So, okay, now what have we got? Now we've got a c5. All right, so 2 c5. So what do we do in the case of an early c5? So, I mean, c3 is kind of the obvious move, so that if c takes, which is a wing pawn, takes a centre pawn, we can recapture. Let's see what the computer thinks. Okay, c3 is excellent, that's playable. 3, just notice I've got a period instead of a thing. So c3 and then knight c6. And then, what do we do now? What do we do? Is e3 okay? e3 is best. Excellent. And, oh yeah. So now we have this queen b6 move. Now we've got a note about queen b6. Getting ready to play queen b6 move, knight b to d2. Is an inaccuracy. Oh yeah, because it actually, so they were preparing to play that, but that actually drops b2. So that is not a good idea. Okay, so if queen b6 now, we're going to play b3. All right. Okay, b3 is best, and we've got a slight advantage again. And then bishop f4 now. Okay, bishop f4 and 6 will go probably bishop d3, and if he wants to swap off, d takes c5 is best. Okay, d takes c5. Let's add that to our notes, and we're half a point in front, which is about where you start as white. So, and then we've got queen takes c5, right? And we're slightly in front at this point in time, but we're not behind. Okay, so you might want to go back again, start all over again, and play d4. And what does Amir play now? Now we've got the knight f6. Okay, so when we knight f6, we know that bishop f4 is okay. It's excellent. And now d6, and that is different to what we had before. So now we can add a different line, right? d6. What if d6? So it looks like maybe they're preparing to play e5 and harass our bishop. Okay. So what might we do here? So e3 before c3. Let's play e3. e3 is good, but knight to c3 is best. Okay, so we'll play knight to c3, knight c3. See, very often people rigidly go for this pawn pyramid, but the computer says no. The computer says knight to c3 is better. And then bishop e6. Bishop e6. And that's odd because it's blocking off this pawn. But we were expecting this bishop to come and fianchetto on that square on g7 anyway. So bishop d3 is good. e4. E4 is best. Let's try e4 then. Okay, it's defended by the knight. e4 is best, and now a5. Okay, I don't know do we want to go after this knight yet? Do we want to do that? Bishop d3 now. Knight to f3 is best. Okay, so we'll go knight f3. See, this is very, very, very simple. So we'll click back. Not going to play that next. Knight to f3. And this is not the London system that you would normally play if you just rigidly stuck to the rules. And then it says b6, and now it's got white at plus 1.6. So here I would put a smiley face, and I know we're good. Okay, so go back to the start of the game, again play d4, Amir plays now d5. Now do we remember what the move was? I think it's probably bishop f4. Yes, indeed, bishop f4. And he's not played c5 this time, so here we've got another variation. 2, knight f6. I'll put that in white. So you can sit through a video from an IM or GM teaching you the London system, and they'll just rattle off all these moves. But I think it's better for you to go through this process yourself and make your own notes, okay? And try to understand and figure out for yourself, so that you actually rewire your brain to understand why a particular move is best. So this is now very normal, okay? So it's almost as though we've played d4, d5, bishop f4, and then the knight comes out. So let's try e3 now. e3 is best, okay? So normal kind of position. And now c5 again. Okay, I'm going to try c3. c3 is good, but knight to c3 is best. Ah, how much better? Let's see how much better. 0.25 to 0.54. Okay, so it's not significant, but let's try knight c3. And then we have c takes d4. And then I guess we're going to do e takes c4. E takes c4. And then a6 has been played. All right, let's bring out the knight maybe. No, it wants bishop, okay? Bishop d3 is best. Why is bishop d3 best? Oops, hang on. I need to take back my knight move. Why is bishop d3 best? That's an odd one. I don't know why bishop d3 is best. I'm not a computer. And then if knight back to g8, we're plus 1.2, so smiley face, and start all over again. And you can see that actually, whereas previously I've been proposing that we should switch bots for every line, actually what you realise is that the same bot can play multiple different variations. So, okay, so if knight to f6, we're going to play bishop out anyway, we know this. Okay, normal routine, e3 is fine, I think, yes. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a mixture of building my notes, but also I'm trying to drill my responses. So without checking my notes, if knight to f6 is played, what do I do? Okay, so here I might play bishop e2. No, knight e2 is best, okay. So now so which line have we got here? So we have knight f6, bishop e4, g6. Hang on. Okay, knight to f6, b4, then d5. Okay, so d5 is actually a new line to d5. Okay, and then we played e3, and then we got bishop e2. There we go, bishop g4. So I'm just copying it off the notation on the side. And then move 4, bishop e2, and then bishop. So in fact, we don't want to play bishop e2. We want to play knight to e2. Knight e2, and then in this case they don't take and they play g6. Okay. And now my bishop's kind of a bit trapped in, isn't it? So what do we want to do next? So you should actually treat these as though it's a game. You're trying to come up with the best move yourself. h3 is tempting, try and kick the bishop away. I guess probably developing the knight. Knight bc3 is excellent, or f3 is best. Okay, well we're going to do f3. Because we want to play the best moves, don't we, everybody? Okay, so f3, let's try that. And now the bishop has retreated, so bishop f5, move 6. I mean, g4's a possibility. It also lets the bishop out. Let's have a go. g4 is best. It likes g4. Good guess, Hunty. Right. Okay. And now queen d7, and we are happy because we are 3.5 points up. Why are we 3.5 points up? Because they've just blundered their bishop. Okay, all good, no problem. Go back to the start and let's do it again. And then once you feel like you've exhausted this particular 1000 bot, okay, so with d5, we know it's this, and then the knight's probably going to come out. Yeah, and then we'll play e3 is best. Okay, so I'm drilling. And now c5, now I might play c3. Okay, but it likes knight c3, that's fine, but this is good as well. I play my bishop out here. Knight f3 is best, okay. So after a while, so look, I'm already 1 and a bit in front, okay? After a while, you get bored of that bot and you want to go on to the next bot. And the different bots will have different styles, but you keep building up your notes. But the point is for this is not to have the notes and to use them in games. The point is to build up the notes so that you can train. And if you're a London player, 5 minutes a day, do this exact same thing, right? Pick a new bot. Okay, so we'll switch to Maxime now. We'll go all the way back to the start of the game. We'll play d4 and see what Maxime plays. Okay, ooh, e5. And this is new, you see? Totally new. So 1, e5. And that's interesting. And I would imagine that pawn takes is the right move. And this is, oh, it's the Englund Gambit. Of course it is, yeah. So then to bishop b4. Hang on. To d takes e5. And then bishop b4, right. So this requires some thought. Now I think the normal Englund Gambit trap line is knight attacking, then knight comes out. But this is novel. Okay, so we're in check actually. So it's bishop b4 plus to signify check. Ha! Surely c3. Yeah, it's got to be c3. And now we're already good. We're already 1.25. Okay, so you might say I'm happy there. Let's try again. Let's see what else Maxime's got. Okay, and we click that to the start. We play d4 again. Now what are you going to do? Now he plays d5, and we know what to do against d5. Bishop comes out. And we have this copycat variation. We haven't seen this one before. So bishop f5. Okay, so we've got a d5, bishop f4, and now here again, 3 ... to signify that it's black's response. Bishop f5, move, it's move 2, isn't it? So move 3. Now what do we do? Is e3 good? e3 is good. e3 is good, okay. And now knight c6. Now move 4, etc. And if you want, you can put this in a document. You can use bullet points, do whatever you want. Okay, and we're just okay here. I'm going to play bishop d3. It likes that. Good. See, because if black's invested a move to develop this bishop, if I play that and then black captures and I capture on here, then it means that black's bishop that he's invested 2 moves in already, one to bring it to here and then one to capture, has disappeared from the board, taking those 2 moves with it, and in its place I've got a developed queen. See, so that would leave black behind in development. So the bishop then retreats, and we get bishop d7, and we're +8 now, so that's not bad at all. I think knight f3. Knight f3 is best. We're preparing to castle. Knight b4. And we're nearly 1 point in front already. So I think with a knight there, c3 kicking the knight is an inaccuracy. But then, so it wants me to castle because there's no serious threat here. Okay, so let's castle. Okay, even though that, you know, black made a mistake on the next move, you can't rely on your opponent to do that. Castling is best. And then knight to f6, and we're kind of happy there. You know, we're 1 point in front already. So that's the principle. We can carry on with this over time. We can keep building up these notes. So I'll paste what I've got here into the description. But you know, please grab this, do this process. If you remember on chess.com, you should be able to do this to your heart's content. I think maybe even if you're not a paid up member, you might still be able to do this. But yeah, if you want to get better at the London system, then train your first 7-8 moves. It's not too difficult. It's not beyond your ability to do this. And you will find that you will then start to get into the middle game with a measurable advantage the majority of the time. And you'll know how to respond to different eventualities. Now, if you get a particular line or a computer recommendation that you just don't understand, stick it in the comments and we'll explore it. We'll do it together, okay? So there you go. I'll paste my notes. Please take this, please use it, please build on it, but more than anything else, please understand it. And by the way, the reason that I'm here in a ghastly yellow shirt is that I'm just about to go off and referee a kids rugby match. So we've had a year without rugby in England right now. Just starting to start up a few games under slightly altered rules, but should be a lot of fun. It's a beautiful spring day, but it's just not a day for chess. Not for me today. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe to Chess Bootcamp if you are not a subscriber. Please do leave your comments, like, share, all that good stuff. And thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.